aren't looking forward to this one. I don't think, looking at Wolves Twitter, Wolves fans are particularly. Bayliss, I will start with you though, because you mentioned earlier it was the perfect storm, and I imagine you're going to take the piss out of someone's accent now with exactly the same accent as you.
Yeah, that is true, but I also don't sound like Sean Dyche's posh cousin.
Great away perspective though. He was good.
He was very good. He was very good, but I disagree with him.
Sean Dyche, Dan, actually. I think it's slightly unkempt.
Just the unkempt bit and ginger hair. I disagree with him. I think this is the perfect storm. Fulham have got to win one eventually, and we've been in absolute shambles at the back. It's got 1-0 Mitrovic or Cavallero written all over it. I've got to look on it negatively because of how badly we've played in the last couple of games, and
they've played bad as well, mate.
They've been awful as well. There's not many games we've ever discussed on this podcast where both sets of fans think they're going to lose, so that might be a positive.
That's true, yeah, probably the first time. Harry, you feeling a little bit more enthusiastic about this one? I know you got pelters off West Ham fans on YouTube for saying that they were relegation fodder, a Fulham relegation fodder like West Ham.
Well, Carragher seems to think so. Paddy Power have already paid out on the bets that people put on for them to get relegated, so yeah. But we've got to win, haven't we? We've got to win. But as what Bailey said, Mitrovic against Cody, they've been writ off. So their team talk's already done, isn't it? Scott Parker's going to go, look, everyone thinks you're getting relegated. Go out there and show them why you're not. So there's huge pressure on Wolves to win this, because if we don't win this, not only is it a massive upset, even though we've had a few dodgy performances ourselves, our fan base will absolutely explode if we don't win this game. Like, a draw's no good. Yeah, it'd be mental.
Explosion a week.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous if we don't win. I think because of how bad we were, cliche, we say this all the time, listen back to our podcast, we always get a reaction. Wolves, when they play bad, Nuno gets a reaction out of the players. We might see a tinkered formation as well to have a go at them. But if they put 10 men behind the ball and it's on the counter and win 1-0 like Stoke did in the Carabao Cup, for example, could see it happening. I'm not going to lie, because we do struggle to break teams down. We always have done under Nuno, but let's hope we can nick an early goal, beat a very poor Fulham team who defend like people off the sunshine bus that Bayliss mentioned the other week. So yeah, we've got to beat them really, man.
Fourth loss in a row, Jack, or we'd be all right?
I don't know. I thought we'd do well against Man City. I thought we'd beat Stoke. I thought we'd beat West Ham. So I don't know anything is what we do. I'm really just not looking forward to this one. Like, on the weekend, I was really looking forward to Sunday night because I kept thinking, oh yeah, and the Wolves are on Sunday night. That's a nice way to end the weekend. As it turns out, it was an absolutely fucking horrible way to end the weekend. I'm just not looking forward to this for the reasons Harry just said. Is we've put a load of pressure on us now by the fact, especially the fact that Villa have beaten them.
I know, 3-0.
And everyone's just turning them over. And they're not going to lose every game of the season. Nobody does that. And we were just shocking the other day, absolutely shocking. So it's just another massive banana skin, and it will be meltdown again. We're going to be really up against it. Particularly if they come out and come at us.
They've shown they can attack as well, because they scored. I know Leeds are bad at the back as well, but they scored 3 away at Leeds. So they've shown they can score goals. But we've got to hope we keep tight and expose their leaky defence.
We've also got to change stuff, hasn't we?
Yeah.
We can't
start because Bayliss, if you have a performance like that with a small squad, it's almost like, actually, are you looking over your shoulder as a first teamer thinking they're going to be changes? There has to be some changes, isn't there? But I mean, on what we've said previously in the video post the West Ham game, it seems like we probably don't actually have enough players in the first team squad to replace everybody that we thought had an absolute stinker.
I think Dendonka's got to start in place of Moutinho, unfortunately. I would start Podence if he's fit with Neto and leave Traore on the bench and use him as an impact player at 65 minutes. At the back, we're knackered. I don't know what we're going to do. Just hope they stretch us and we get them on the counter-attack, because they're not as good in defence as West Ham. I can't believe we're having this conversation after watching us play in Europe last year. Jesus. Went to fucking Turin away, and now we're talking about West Ham being good at the back.
There's rumours as well going around that Dendonka might be on the way out, isn't there?
I saw that, Jack. Yeah,
saw that today. Yeah,
I don't know what to say if that's the case. Leave us with 3 midfielders, one who's played half an hour.
Can't
happen. I wouldn't mind giving Hoover a game. Actually, start him.
Where?
Get rid of Sace's got to be benched. You can't have 2 shockers like that. You can't have two shockers like that.
It's going to be the same team, isn't it? We're going to say obviously it'll be the same team.
What sort of message would that send out, though, Harry, to the players that just haven't performed really since, well, through that Stoke game maybe, and certainly Man City and West Ham?
Yeah, well, I'm in belief that we'll see quite a similar team because Nuno will stick with them, as he always does, as Catrone pointed out, as you mentioned earlier. But I wouldn't mind seeing Hoover come in. We know that Marcel's back in light training, according to reports. So let's hope he can come back in. No, I love Vinagre, you know I do, but let's be honest, he hasn't been great, has he? So if Marcel is even 70% fit, I'd start him for his defensive duties. Hoover, maybe play him right centre back, switch Bolly over to the left, where people argue he's more comfortable on the left, don't they? He's done well. He's played more games there for us. Samido, we can't write him off, although Bayliss might think otherwise. He's only played one game. Come on, let's get him back in there. I haven't written him
off. I just said he's got dangerous tendencies.
But what I would do is I'm just going back on what I was just thinking there. I was going to say what I would do is put two up front and have the three in midfield, but we're playing Fulham at home. It's at home, isn't it? I know it don't matter because there's no fans, but
I don't think that matters anymore.
No, but we've got to play free. But was the free working? Do you know what I mean? Is the free up front been working? Do you play Fabio Silva and Jimenez up top? Drop Traore? Bring him on as sub? Do you drop Neto, the only person who did okay? Put Neto and Jimenez as the two up top? I don't know.
I think the two things we do know is that if Podence and Marcel are even 80% fit, they both should start. Based on how poorly he looked without
100%.
I agree with Vinagre. I a few weeks ago I said I thought this would be the season where Vinagre sort of came through and lived up to his potential, but the first bits of viewing we've got, it's like he hasn't progressed in the last 2 years, which is worrying. So maybe those rumours about Nuno willing to part with him there's something in them. If we let Dendoncker go, I'd be shocked, and I'd like to see Dendoncker come in. I don't really care which one it's with, whether it's with Neves or Moutinho, but I think we need to change that midfield pairing because it's just not working. I haven't seen enough of Vitinha yet to say that he's ready for the Premier League. Same with Fabio Silva. I don't think Fabio Silva's quite ready for the Premier League yet from what I've seen. And that's worrying when you then look at our squad, and after being so excited that we've got these players coming in, it just looks thin again because we've lost a couple of Marcel to injury.
It's something we're not used to, though, isn't it? Losing players to injury, because we've been really, really lucky about it. Even in the Championship season, all those games, the Tuesday, Saturdays, still didn't have those sort of injuries, and then they've all come along at once.
Aside from that, we currently look like a potentially very good team for the 2025 season. That's the issue.
Actually, that's when Cody's deal runs out, so that's good timing.
That'll be in League One then, though. That's probably
that's the issue. Our current, we've got one guy that scores a lot of goals, and I can't see where many others coming from. Podence and Traore, maybe. Neves might get an odd couple. Other than that, our main backup as a forward line is an 18-year-old kid that hasn't had a huge amount of game time. It is slightly worrying.
And the new lad Hoover's 18, Vinagre's young.
I don't mind if they're young and hungry and good enough, but they've got to prove they're good enough. And
it's that whole thing, isn't it? If you're good enough, you're old enough. But
yeah, totally. But we've got to start putting results in to prove that. And I'm sure once Silva does bag one, it'll be absolutely fine. But when we're losing games like we have been pretty convincingly, don't pick up a good result against Fulham. Then we've got Leeds, which is going to be a tough one. You know, there's a few games that we should be winning that might turn into really difficult fixtures. And that's when you've got to start looking at squad depth and squad ability. And then poor young kids that are trying to prove themselves as professionals going to have a lot of weight on their shoulders.
It didn't take us long, though, to realise that Neto and Vinagre, when we were in the Championship, were good enough. True. So I don't think it's going to take us very long to realise whether Vitinha's going to have his deal made permanent or whether Fabio Silva's the biggest waste of £35 million ever. But that's probably being harsh, but it's just, I just want a bit more depth and a bit more experience. We need a centre-back, and if we're going to let Dendoncker go, we need an experienced centre midfielder, and I think everyone can see that.
It's something we've said for years.
That's what it is, really.
For years and years, and and it has never arrived, has it? We said we needed a centre-back, and Ryan Bennett was brought in. I thought he did a good job. I don't know why he's not even being talked about actually for the.
He's going to Fulham. He's going to Fulham.
At least he can't play if he goes to Fulham.
And we were calling again, and Sace gets moved in there.
Do you think, as a genuine question, Wolves at some point are going to have to press the button and do a City if they really want to be up there? Are we going to have to go and spend 300 million in the space of a couple of years?
Well, that's the thing. We haven't I think we've gained money this window, haven't we? Haven't we gained half a million from sales and then oh man.
Now it's not the time when you look at sustainability in football clubs. Now's not the time to be throwing numbers around like 120 million for Jordan Sancho, because I think that's the stuff that could really screw you over further down the line, particularly us. And I don't think Fosun will do that. No, maybe eventually, yes, but we need to get the long-term fallout from this pandemic and plan for that first, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We'll do a score prediction though, Harry.
3-0 Wolves. Let's be confident. Come on, boys.
Bayliss.
1-0 Fulham.
Jack.
2-2 and absolute meltdown.
What about you, Sam? 2-2 Fulham.
5-1 Wolves. It's
Yes.
going to happen now. I thought Fulham were absolutely rubbish against Villa.
Mate, honestly, if Fulham can't score more than one goal against that shower of shit that we saw at the weekend, then they just relegate them now.
Relegate them now.
But just call them R Fulham.
Let's get